Hey y'all, it's Becca, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the Circadian Code today. It is a fantastic book. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. It's not, terribly long or, kind of not tiny words or anything. Any case, lose weight, supercharge your energy, and transform your health from morning to midnight by Satchin Panda, PhD. So basically, let me go through what I learned, and I'm just going to have some notes in front of me just to make sure that I don't forget anything because it's a lot of information, but it's a lot of really good information. So I don't want to I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So basically, there's a few main points that you should consider implementing, that I am implementing currently, and that is time restricted eating, or TRE. So if anybody's heard of intermittent fasting, it's kind of similar to that. So you basically want to make sure that you're eating within a 10-hour window or less. So 8 to 10 hours is really the preferred window, and that's when you start eating to when you finish eating. I know a lot of people with intermittent fasting, it's like 16 hours between when you stop eating and start eating, but this is really more of a when you start and when you stop. So you basically want to align it with your body's natural circadian rhythm. So if you eat breakfast, and you should not skip breakfast. Um, Breakfast is kind of what gets your body going, especially in terms of the digestion and everything. And lunch should be your biggest meal. And if you have dinner, it should be very small, because at the end of the day is when your body naturally slows down the digestion process. So you don't want to fill it full of food and then have it slow down, because then it'll just sit there. So, so if you start eating at 8, you should finish by 6. That's a good 10-hour window. And obviously, if you can go shorter than that, that would be better. But at the very max, a 10-hour window is preferred. Avoid late night eating. So, like I said, your digestive tract slows down at night when your body is supposed to be sleeping and restoring. So you don't want to eat late at night and disrupt that, because that can lead to weight gain and metabolic issues. So it's really important to stay within this time restricted eating window. And I've been doing that so far, and I really enjoy it. It's, sometimes I do feel a little hungry, but I'm trying to go to bed early as well. So, because I wake up early. So, that kind of brings me into my next point, and that's optimizing your sleep. So, keeping a consistent sleep schedule, creating a sleep friendly environment, and if necessary, supplementing with melatonin. So, let me go back to consistent sleep schedule. So, for me, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. My kids, one daughter gets on the bus or leaves to walk to the bus stop at 6, and the other one does the same thing at 6:50. So I need to make sure that I'm up. I need to make sure that I have got their breakfast ready. And then I like to do a quick walk if I can outside, just to get some fresh air to start my day. But in any case, because I get up at 5 a.m., I need to be in bed by 9 so that I can get that good 7.5 hours of sleep. And when I say that, I mean, it's going to take me a little bit of time to fall asleep. I might wake up a little bit before my alarm. So 7.5 hours is fingers crossed, how much sleep I'm actually getting from the time I fall asleep to the moment I wake up. Of course, if I can get a little bit more and stretch it to 8, that's even better. If I get a little bit less and have at least 7, then that's okay too. But 7.5 is kind of my goal. So I try to go to bed at 9 p.m. Try to get in bed around 8:30, and so that I'm asleep by 9, and then I'm up at 5. And even on weekends, that's the big thing. Like, even on weekends, making sure you're keeping that same rhythm, because your body doesn't know the difference, right? Your body is expecting you to be keeping the same rhythm day in and day out every day, because that's how the sun works. That's how life works. Before the whole invent of the light bulb, um, you know, and that's only been around, what, 100, 150 years, something like that. Um, People had to rely on sunrise and sunset and maybe some candles, which did not give a whole lot of light. So you really had to make sure to keep your sleep. I mean, you didn't have to make sure at that time. You need to make sure now to keep your sleep consistent, because we have all of this artificial light and everything. And speaking of which, I didn't turn my uh, lights on, so I'm not sure how bright this video is going to be, but that's okay. I don't mind. Maybe I'll turn it on halfway. It is the middle of the day, so at least if I have bright lights, it's a good thing to keep me awake. So creating a sleep-friendly environment, making sure your bedroom is dark, keeping it cool and quiet are big things. And if you can't do quiet in terms of, maybe you're in a city and there's a lot of street noise and things like that, using a sound machine so that it at least drowns it out and is a kind of flat noise would be beneficial. Again, keeping your bedroom dark at night, so don't have any kind of night lights or anything like that on, and keeping it cool. The cooler you are, the better you sleep. And then, of course, the big thing is reducing your screen time, and that's from TVs or phones or computers before bed, to minimize your exposure to blue light. And because blue light blocks the melatonin production in your brain, and I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, because I didn't write this down specifically, but the blue light interferes with your melatonin production in your brain, so you aren't going to get to sleep as easily or as quickly if you have that blue light. So I don't have them. I don't have them in here, but I actually have these blue light blocking glasses that I bought, that, at least the overhead lights, and if I do need to do something on my phone before bed, it's blocking all of the blue light so that it does not keep me awake. And then again, if you find the need for melatonin supplementation, take it at least 2 hours after you eat, as well as 2 hours before you go to bed. And that will be for optimal results. So 2 hours after you last eat, and as well as 2 hours before you go to bed, which means it should be 4 hours minimum between the time that you last eat and the time that you go to bed. So that is another point, I guess. So there's a lot of points here. I apologize. It's going to be a bit longer than usual video, but I want to make sure that I get through all of this, because it's such really good information. I'm just really excited to have all of this. So get morning sunlight. Not only do I try and get out and walk, which at this point that early, because I do work Eastern hours. So I live on the West Coast, but I work Eastern hours. That means I'm at my desk working by 6:30 my time, because that's 9:30 on the East Coast. So I do get outside and I get some exercise in the morning between when I wake up and start work. However, it's not usually in the daylight. It usually has not had the sunrise happen just yet. At least not until daylight savings time hits. But I take a break around 9 o'clock my time, and I go out and I sit outside for a good 15 minutes at least, if not a little bit longer, just to get that sunlight. And that will help regulate your circadian clock, boost your mood, and boost your energy levels. And with my bipolar and my ADHD and my what is looking to be like might be diagnosed soon with oh, what was it called? I Idiopathic hypersomnia, and that basically means I can't stay awake during the day, even with a full night's sleep. If I don't have a one of these caffeine pills every 3 hours, I will literally fall asleep for hours and then wake up and feel like I haven't rested at all. And that doesn't matter how good a sleep I get the night before, how long a sleep I get the night before, it doesn't matter. So, in any case, I'm waiting for the sleep center to get my, oh, what is that called? Pre-authorization for my insurance to do the study to see if I have the idiopathic hypersomnia. So whatever I can do to try and help boost my energy levels throughout the day, I'm going to try. So this is one thing that I've started to implement was going outside for a good 15 minutes or so, just taking a break every now and then at work, throughout the day as my day goes on, and getting that sunshine in. And speaking of getting things in, physical activity. So you're actually primed best for physical activity during the day. And especially morning to early afternoon is the best time, because you could actually disrupt your sleep the later you exercise. So if you try and exercise right before you go to bed, you might not sleep as well. Because physical activity actually boosts your energy. Um, so again, like if I'm starting to feel tired, maybe I'll go for a walk outside and that will give me a little bit of an energy boost. Fingers crossed. Right now, we're still trying it out. See if it works. So aligning your work and social activities. So I'm just going to read what this says because I do work Eastern hours, like I said, and my social activities involve my family at home. So I don't do any kind of late night social activities, generally speaking. But schedule demanding tasks during your peak alertness. So your cognitive performance and alertness peak in the late morning to early afternoon. So plan your most challenging tasks for this period, which is, generally speaking, why 9 to 5 work is best. For me, I work 6 to 2. So thankfully, a lot of meetings happen in the morning, so I don't need to be particularly in my best form in terms of getting cognition. I'm trying to figure out how to word that properly, but I'm not sitting there trying to do like intense work first thing in the morning because I have these meetings. But once the meetings are over and I am starting to do my intense work that I need to do, then it's later in the morning. I'm at my peak alertness levels and I can get my work done really well. And then by 2 o'clock, when 2:30, when I end my work day, then I can kind of relax a little bit. That little afternoon slump that tends to come about, it doesn't affect me as much because I'm done with my work day by then. And then engage in social activities and relaxation in the evening to wind down before sleep. You should probably avoid alcohol. I personally don't drink. I am a alcoholic, so I am officially. Let me look at my thing. At 2 years, 2 months, 1 week, and 2 days sober. I have a countdown on my phone that tells me that because it's important to me that I am sober. So I don't judge anybody else that drinks. It's just something that I know personally I can't have just one. It's start it and don't stop until you pass out, basically. So that's not a good look, to be honest. So what is next? Reduce artificial light exposure at night. I kind of touched on this earlier, but you want to reduce artificial overhead lighting as much as possible. In the evenings, you want to kind of more mimic what it was like back in the day. Um, have task lighting set up, maybe some desk lights only on your table, have it be a little bit more romantic for dinner. um, Having the table light lamps instead of the overhead lights. And again, if you have to have overhead lights or you have to have your screens on, then use the blue light blocking technology that we have these days to help not have so much blue light coming in and keeping your melatonin levels high, or from getting high enough to sleep well. So what is next? So consistency is key. So making sure that you're consistent in doing all of these things. Again, that same routine of waking up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at 9 p.m., even on the weekends, is really going to be essential for long-term health. And I know, like, every once in a while, there's going to be a late night here and there. My husband and I just had a date night where we went to a comedy show. Luckily, it started at 7, so we were able to be home and in bed by 10 or 11. So it didn't skew too far. But I know, like, we have another event coming up for our 2-year wedding anniversary, and that's going to be a very late night because I don't think the show starts until like 9 o'clock at night. But that's a once a year type thing. I'm okay with that. But from a day in and day out perspective, consistency is key to getting all of the things done to keep your body in sync with its natural rhythms. And lastly is incorporating periods of fasting. So the occasional fast, and I do mean occasional, can help reset your circadian rhythm, improve your metabolic health, and promote longevity. So I plan on doing like a 24-hour fast. So I will eat breakfast, and then I won't eat again until breakfast the next day. And that'll be pretty much a 24-hour fast right there. So I don't know when I will plan to implement that. I'm thinking I will do it on the weekend. So Saturday, I'll eat breakfast, and then I'll eat breakfast again on Sunday, or Sunday into Monday. So I'm going to try it this weekend. I will let you guys know how it goes, either through a short or through a long form video. But speaking of, I am on 75 hard. I am on day 3. So I did take a break from 75 hard. I hurt my ankle. It was really bothering me to do my exercise. So I decided to take a break and just heal, I guess. Just make sure that my ankle was feeling optimal before starting 75 hard back up again. But I did start it. So today is day 3. I started it on Monday, which was Labor Day. And so far so good. My ankle has been a little twingy here and there, but not as bad as it was prior to taking that break. So 75 hard's back on, combat conditioning is back on, carnivore is going strong as well. That is my diet of choice for 75 hard, so that has me being more active, actively participating with doing the carnivore. I do incorporate sweeteners, sugar alcohols specifically, so erythritol and allulose, intermittently. So I'll have plain yogurt, but then I'll put just a few drops of like a Trulia sweetener in it, just to make it a little more palatable. At least for now, I am going to try to wean off of that, but to at least get me going for now, that's what I'm doing. So I guess that is everything I have to say. Again, I highly, highly, highly recommend The Circadian Code by Dr. Satchin Panda. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. In any case, very, very good book. And I am actually working on this book next, and that's Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life. It's very similar. It is about circadian rhythm, but it's from a I have to look up the word again. I'm gonna really horribly say uh, this word because I don't know. Ayurveda, Ayurveda. It's sometimes called the original lifestyle medicine, and it literally translates to the science of life. So it is based on Ayurveda. And so I'm, not that far into it so far, maybe what is that, a quarter of the way. But this will be the next book that I review. I'm reading this as part of 75 Hard. Again, this says day 3 of 75 Hard, and this is how far I'm into it because I started this book on Monday as well. But it's really interesting. So it talks about meditation, incorporating meditation into your daily life. And again, I haven't gotten into the rest of it, but seems like it's going to be very similar to the Circadian Code, which is great. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So in any case, I hope you guys are having a wonderful time. I hope that your carnivore lifestyle is going well, if that's the lifestyle that you've chosen for your eating habits. And otherwise, I hope your keto lifestyle is going well, because I know I have been flip-flopping back and forth between the two on this channel. And I, even to this day, I'm just like, oh, healthy keto is so much more satisfying. I'm not satisfying. It's less restrictive. There's more things I can eat on it. So I prefer it, but I want to give carnivore a chance because I do feel like I need to do this. What is it called? Not restrictive eating. Oh my goodness, what is it called? Where you eliminate an elimination diet. Basically, just eliminate as much as possible so that I am really trying to heal my body from within. And that's from, not just an inflammation standpoint or, like with my skin and whatnot, but it's also for my mind. So like I've said several times on the channel and once before in this video, I do have bipolar, I do have ADHD, and I do know that the restrictive keto, what do they call that? Metabolic keto and metabolic carnivore are both very successful in helping to treat bipolar, as much as, if not better than, the actual psychiatric medication. So I am still on my medication. I haven't taken any medications off. I haven't done any kind of reduction in medication. So we'll see how that goes. The ultimate goal would be to get off of all of my medications and just do supplementation as necessary because of the gastric bypass, and have my diet provide all of my needs. And what's interesting is that even in the Circadian Code, it talks about mental health and how living your life by the body's natural rhythm can help with mental health issues. So I found that really interesting. Like, I wasn't even looking at mental health issues with this. I was just looking at, this seems interesting to bring up the circadian rhythm and how that affects your body. But to hear about mental health being affected as well is really interesting. So anyway, I know I've rambled on for quite some time. This is a really long video, but I did want to get all of the points across in the book, and I do apologize for reading a little bit, but hopefully it was worth it. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all the things. You know the drill. All right, bye.